defensive end could be creeping up. And we said this weeks ago. Defensive end could end up being a top need if DeMarcus Lawrence is out. And Jermaine Johnson, to me, I really like this kid, man. 6'5", 254. Had a fantastic year last year. And his first year, the only year with Florida State, transfer from Georgia. And think about him on that damn Georgia line. It's kind of crazy, right? But I love his length.
Oh, yeah.
34-inch arms. He uses his length extremely well to set the edge. He can peek and shed at a high level. I think he's a tooly guy, man, that hasn't hit his ceiling. His ceiling, to me, is very high. And I like his floor, too. I think he could come in right now and help you at the very least in the run game, which, by the way, if you're going to lose a DeMarcus Lawrence, get me a guy who can set that edge. And I think Jermaine could do it, but I think he has some go to him as a pass rusher too, man. He's played 58 snaps in 11 of the 12 games, so Jermaine can go. So in my crazy foots, in my crazy Cowboys nation, I like a Jermaine Johnson if you're kind of wiped out of the top edge rushers, which you probably will be.
Now, let me say this, Scott. I'm going to have a come-to-God moment. There were times on film where I was turned off by Jermaine Johnson,
Okay.
and this was particularly before he transferred into Florida State. But I'm going to say this, and I want everybody to hear this and keep this. I had a come-to-God moment watching Jermaine Johnson move this last weekend. Mm-hmm. He looked more fluid than some of the backers who were true off-ball linebackers. His movement is real. He now showed me that he has position flex, that he could play in the 3-4 scheme, stand up, hand in the dirt.
Right.
His hips are not tight. So keep this sound drop. I have grown on Jermaine Johnson a lot, and that's the process. That's why I said we don't have to rush. I think that he's jumped himself I think for sure that he's jumped himself into a top 15 prospect anyway.
Ooh.
Oh, he's a top 15 guy. Oh yeah. You'll see. Because, I like Karlaftis. The problem with Karlaftis is the movement just wasn't.
I like Jermaine better than Karlaftis.
Yeah.
And I'm not making that decision willy-nilly. I really forced I said, find what you like better about Karlaftis than Jermaine. And I couldn't really lie to myself. I like Jermaine all around better than him. And he probably will go after Karlaftis.
I was about to say the problem is, Sky, and it's not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But the truth is this: Karlaftis is early on in his career a two-down defensive end. Set the edge, play the run. The pass rush ability, I'm not going to say it's not there, but it's something that he's going to have to grow into and be schemed into.
Sure.
I think he's, that's just what it is with him. But he will play that run, and there is a lane for guys like that. I think he's going to be more of a second-round guy because you see guys like – I'm going to tell you this right now, and now save this as well. Ajobo is going in the first round. The traits are just too good for him not to go round one. Ajobo is going – David Ajobo, Michigan DN, is going to go in the first round. Mark my words. And Jermaine Johnson, he's flown up throughout the process. He's really done everything that you need to do from that DN position, man.
Yeah.
The numbers, the Senior Bowl dominant. Then he goes and he dominated the combine. To be a stand-up defensive end and then do some backer drills and just move fluent like that, he's gonna go first round.
Yeah, him. I actually struggled with this one. I was trying to determine who do I like better between Travon Walker and Jermaine. I like them equally, but I look at Travon Walker as a guy he has to work towards his pass rushing. Where I looked at Jermaine and I'm like, my goodness, he got some tools. And does he know how to use them all just yet? Probably not, right? That's where a guy like Dan Quinn will come in. But I called him tooly because he doesn't use one move all the time or two or three moves. He uses a bunch of moves. It doesn't always work, but if you get Dan Quinn underneath him, right, and help him mold, say, hey, listen, young fella, you don't need to try these 3 or 4 different things. Work on this 1 or 2 things here, be great at it, and then you'll have counters off of that. I think he could be really difficult to deal with down in and down out as a left defensive end type. And when you look at the way Dan Quinn uses these guys, we'll have them standing up, we'll have them dropping back, we'll have them inside, moving all over the place. And when I look at the prospects not named, Hutchinson and those guys, I think Jermaine is a guy that DQ would have a lot of fun with.
Oh yeah, I mean, you listen, Jermaine Johnson, if he's there, he's going to be in consideration for the Cowboys. And again, it just goes back to doing what? Bolstering. To me, I think the focal point needs to be this defense. And I think the offense will suffice. But if you have an outstanding defense, you'll be in game. And I think that's what Dallas has to eventually work through and work to. So I'm not mad at that at all.